I can turn you to Darth Vader, but we didn't set up.
Oh, your father.
Welcome to Podcast Tak Berlesen, ladies and gentlemen. That was the cold open. I don't know from when it started, but okay. It's always a surprise. And today we have someone new on screen. Say hello.
Hello.
And I'll allow you to introduce yourself before we move on to our today's topic.
Hi, my real name is Liu Kepang, but people know me as Roti because if you know me from Esports and different places, then you know me by a different name. So this kind of ties into my background a little bit. So I have actually been known as doing esports for maybe the past like 15, 16 years. The typical story is started off as a player. This is way back before like the whole esports boom. You guys talk about where's my payment? I'm like, there is no payment. So
Back in the day.
so I'm back in the era. I was running tournaments, doing community management and all that. And then I moved towards doing agency work. So if you know me from agency, you either know me as KP, Liu, or Kepang. Yeah. So then moved back into esports. I think back in maybe 2016, 15 like that. And then went the whole rodeo of some esports organizations like Fire Dragoon. I was running WESGC at the time as well. And then also most recently in Sem9, and which we stopped operations late last year. And then after that, it was right now I am working together with two other partners running Digital Nation and then also doing some marketing work at the same time. So yeah, that's me.
And one of your partners have been on our episode before?
Adrian.
Oh. Well, anyway, no secret lah, right? No secret lah, right?
Uwu the magical.
Uwu the magical. With the Navi picture jacket.
It kind of
thing.
fits because magical and then Navi, then you have who's that dandy, very magical personality.
Okay. Magical gameplay also.
Yeah, very
Alright.
magical. Yep.
Yeah, but today specifically we want to delve a little bit more into some of the economics in the esports realm. So starting off with some interesting news that has happened globally and also kind of locally and regionally as well. Fnatic, they have announced that they are up for sale for $100 million.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, Fnatic is such an OG team, right?
Yeah.
Like what were your memories of Fnatic?
So I think for myself, I first knew Fnatic when I was competing in this title called Call of Duty 4. Kind of reveals my age a little bit. So back then, Fnatic was one of the dream teams to go to because they were one of the first, I would say, really professional organizations out there. There were others who were competing as well. But somehow Fnatic seemed to be like the premier one that you want to join because they were winning titles from like Call of Duty 4, CS back in the days and all of the major FPS titles.
Yeah, for me, Fnatic, I came across Dota.
Ah,
Yeah, also legendary.
Yep.
So legendary. Yeah, way back then even lah, right? And it's a rather big news that they put themselves up for sale for $100 million. So what do you think about this?
Yeah, so I think back in the day when I was still in Fire Dragoon, right? So I was kind of doing a study of how different esports organizations kind of run. And Fnatic actually released, I can't remember whether it was a study or it was an kind of like through an interview that they did with their leadership team. They were saying that they actually ran 100 events a year. So
how do they run 100 events a year?
Yeah.
Fnatic itself?
Yeah, Fnatic itself. Yeah. So
okay.
So I believe like when they say events, it's not like, the MPLs or the PMSLs that we see here.
Okay, it can be
It's
like
not
an
that scale.
online community live
Um,
stream
I-
that counts as the
Yes,
event.
I believe it is more towards like activations, marketing activations, because they had a lot of big name sponsors, and they even had their own apparel line. Sorry, not apparel line, their own gear line, like the mouse and so on. So they did a lot of activations, and I believe that 100 events, right, was them doing event activations to either fulfill sponsorship obligations or kind of just push their own product lines out there. Yeah. So when I like thinking back in the day, right, that they were one of the people who kind of said like the president, hey, when you just do sponsorship deals, it's not just about, putting my logo there on my jersey and then once in a while I tag my sponsor on social media. It's also you need to kind of build that relationship with their customers as well through things like marketing activations. So for me, they set the benchmark, and now seeing that they are closing down, right? I think it feels like esports is entering this maybe new era of things where it's not just Fnatic, but a lot of the major esports organizations have also said they kind of closing down or stopping their operations or not continuing anymore.
But that's very
Yeah.
forward thinking of Fnatic, right? Like you interviewed or you got the information like there was like what 2017
Yeah, way
or
back
so?
before
Yeah.
COVID. This is before COVID.
Right.
Yeah,
Definitely
yeah,
way before COVID lah. And
yeah,
and for the fact that I believe even that time and to a certain extent even now, sometimes organizations they like what you say lah, right? Just think that okay, sponsorship is like okay, I do video for you, I shout out, put your logo on my jersey and all that. But Fnatic actually embedded it into like even their apparel, even we know they have like the keyboards and the mouse that they
yeah,
released the mouse pads and all that also.
yeah.
What kind of background of a person did you speak to that had that level of forward thinking?
So I don't think to clarify, I don't think wasn't somebody that I spoke to.
Mm.
It's something that I was reading throughout online, and then I think ironically back in the day, it was LinkedIn.
Right.
LinkedIn was the place to kind of go and learn these kind of things because it was a new platform. Everybody was kind of posting this stuff. Not just in terms of esports, but even when it comes to digital marketing and so on, there were a lot of groups that really shared like a lot of insight and best practices. And then that's where I stumbled across. That's why I can't remember whether it's an article or an interview, but one of their leadership teams.
Mm.
It was I think it's one of the C-level people. They were talking about how they actually run this business, And the surprising thing that stood out was that 100 events a year, and which is like somebody was asking them, hey, what do you guys do every year? Then they say we're actually quite busy. What do we do? We do this 100 events a year, which is, yeah, I think that person is probably someone that has their kind of business mindset behind because they have had CEOs that have been from more traditional business background. They come in to actually transform the business into like how do you do activations and how do you do sponsorship deals and so on. So yeah.
Interesting. And they were also one of the few that actually did that sort of
Yeah.
activation or way to
Yeah.
garner revenue, right? That
Yeah.
time. Yeah. And it was quite apparel lah. I mean, we all know that their stuff that's out there, so definitely worked.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the famous monitor like Zoe,
Mm.
that Zoe monitor is technically the first few people that Zoe sponsored just to push out that 144 hertz monitor was Fnatic or their link kind of brands. So yeah.
The only monitor I know of is Predator. But
Okay.
anyway, but yeah, now that they all of a sudden they say, okay, 100 million up for sale, it kind of feels like, okay, you build a startup and then like it's time for like, okay, I want to cash out and I just leave,
Yeah.
right? It feels like that.
It does.
Do you think it's 100 million?
I believe that it's definitely worth that amount.
Mm.
The question usually is, can the next people who want to take it on, or whoever interested parties, right, do they themselves value it that way?
Mm.
Because esports, I think, even when it comes to any kind of business, right, you value it because of your track record of the services or clients that you, or business revenue streams that you have on board. Then now is whether the new people will see, does look at it the same way as well when they evaluate the value of that business. If you say the legacy is definitely there, and I think it's a lot more easier as a brand like Fnatic to go out there and pitch to people and say, we have done this because they have that long legacy and track record. So 100 million, I think, to be honest, in the West, that amount isn't unheard of.
Mm.
So yeah, it is not, because they have kind of built, you can say, a media enterprise as well, together along to kind of facilitate whatever they do. Yeah.
Mm.
So they have their whole marketing, the whole business, the whole unit running as well. So that figure, not surprising.
Yeah.
So yeah.
But like what you say, right? If whoever who acquires it, like how will it continue after that, right?
Yes.
Plus, back then when they started building that, like competition is not as how it is today.
Yeah.
Yep. And also in terms of how esports have shaped throughout the years, also it's very different from back then as well. Yeah. So whoever takes that will need to have another way of moving the next step lah. Rather than
Yes.
just, okay, I take now and then I just count my money in 10 years time, something like that.
Yep.
It probably doesn't work that way now lah. Yeah.
Yeah.
But why do you think that Fnatic choose to exit now? Or whoever who is the shareholders? Why now?
I think sometimes it's like when you build your business, right? You have your own vision for this. Then that vision over time, because it's business, it changes. And why I say that is because in the end of the day, right, business is about serving customers, and your customers change over time. Be it your sponsors, they want different things. Your clients, be it your end users like Fnatic, they have the keyboard and such. I'm not sure whether they even bought a factory production line for that, but if they did, that definitely changed over time. If you're talking about mechanical keyboards, right, there's so many different, more indie production manufacturers nowadays. Compared to last time, the big ones were like, you just hear Ducky and Razer. That's it.
Mm.
And it's always just blue keys and so on. Then Razer came out with their own keys. Then Fnatic came out with the Fnatic gear, their own keys again.
And now you have customizable keyboards.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. And those customizable keyboards, they used to be super expensive. Now they are quite similar range.
Mm.
And then you have the whole deal with China also coming in with their own batch of stuff. So I think like across the whole board, Fnatic's customers probably changed. So the business has forced to change. Not surprising that the original shareholders, they just decided, you know what? I think I have done what I want to do so far. And it's changing. I no longer wish to continue. Or maybe it's time to hand over to some other people who might be better, more well equipped to take whatever we have built to go to the next phase.
Right. And
So, yeah.
that makes sense lah, because they have already achieved their own vision already.
Yeah.
They've achieved their own vision, and obviously now they are willing to put up for sale 100 million. And I'm sure the 100 million also is not like, oh, they just snap a number out of the air. I'm sure they have done their valuation already with whoever lah, right? To get that sort of number. And like what you say, like if right, if there's also a factory that they own, suddenly that 100 million sounds cheap.
Yeah.
Yeah, right.
Because
you get the whole thing.
Yeah, you have the whole thing. You have people already, they know how to do like the patterns, the whole manufacturing line, you can run the whole thing. And technically you could refit that factory to something else. So there's quite a lot of possibilities, especially if you own the manufacturing yourself.
So in recent time also, well, Fnatic hasn't been performing as how they have been before this lah. I guess it's also part of their plan to like, we're going to sunset anyway, so we don't sukang ho lah, right? I guess lah, right? I guess so.
Yeah.
then that means that whoever who acquires Fnatic is quite a tall order to shape it to come back lah. Unless whoever who buys it really has like, I don't know what sort of idea lah. Why? I guess the bigger question is that why would people buy Fnatic at this point of time?
That's actually a very good question, because in the end of the day, like any kind of business, after you've been running for a decent amount of time, you have shaped a sort of identity for yourself. And I believe, let's say if I look at Fnatic, I break it down into the basics, right? What it has legacy among esports fans, right? And it's been long enough that those esports fans have also matured in age, maybe 5 years, 10 years at least, So these people now, they might have just been gamers, but now they are gamers with money. So that's one huge factor.
But not with 100 million money. I mean, I'm not judging, right?
Yeah.
Maybe they are.
They
right?
could be, Who knows? One of their fans will be the ones who buys them over.
Maybe
it could
Elon
be.
Musk is a fan. Who knows?
Yeah, it could be.
I don't know.
Yeah. So when I say with money, right, is that not saying that they would buy Fnatic, but now they have a lot more spending power. So the comparison that you can make is like they probably started following Fnatic when they are in uni, because back in the day, I think in uni, that's where you start to get access to the internet and so on, right? Maybe the more younger fans, like they are 5 years old, they get to know them maybe slightly earlier only, like maybe secondary school, high school, and so on. So the age range is about like maybe from anywhere from like 16 to 25. That one, you plus 10 years or 5 years. So now these are like 25 to 35-year-old people, or even 40-year-olds already, right? So if you make that comparison, right, the spending power of somebody that is a uni student compared to somebody who is, let's say, in their late 30s, these people are minimum, they're probably like managers, they have their own business, they are quite high, they could be quite high up the corporate ladder as well. Very decently, their spending power is maybe on average 3x already. So by that, right, that means that the fan base is quite mature. And since they've been in Dota for so long, even more, Dota fan base is one of the most matured in esports right now. So they have a high value fan base over there and the legacy to back it up. Because when you say Fnatic, almost anybody who has even heard of esports knows that name.
Except for maybe the newer generation.
the newer ones.
Yeah.
So maybe, you're right. Because Fnatic doesn't really have that big of a presence in, I would say, the mobile gaming space.
Do they have? I'm trying to think.
I know they do have teams, but it hasn't really reached like Southeast Asia, that kind of like fame.
Oh yeah, I think they do have teams in Philippines. Yeah. But like what you say now, right? They haven't met that level of success.
Yeah.
So but then again, whoever who acquires, they can do basically. If you acquire, you can do whatever you want with it.
Yes.
You want to say that, okay, I want to like rebuild from a successful team storyline and then earn the fame, earn the numbers, and sell merchandise, or just totally pivot away from esports also can.
Yep.
And still retain the infrastructure and maybe do something else like agency work, something like that, right?
Yeah. So that comes down to the other, like I would say, the fundamental that Fnatic has, which is they actually have people who know how to market to their fans. So I think any business, like when they look for agencies, especially, they will look for people, not just the ones that can do the work. Let's say they need an event to launch an event. Sure, there are plenty of people out there who can launch an event. But can you launch an event that resonates with their customers or not? So when you split it up, like Fnatic is really good in doing events and activations for people, one, who really enjoy gaming, and who love competitive esports, and then three, probably the younger crowd as well, because they are heavy on esports is always heavy on social media, so they have the people who know how to do that already. You don't need to train them. You don't need to like give a chance. They already know. They can tell you straight away.
So basically, you take out the team portion, and that's that already, lah.
Yeah, yeah,
So
yeah.
anyone who acquires can look at it from that perspective, like, okay, I don't want to, I don't want the
Yes.
team anymore.
Yes.
I just want this whole content, strategic piece,
Yeah.
and sell it to
Yeah.
however lah.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Yeah. Yeah, then they have even more better, which is like the third fundamental, which is they have worked with people who have done manufacturing lines before. So they have their own kind of like gears and stuff like that, right? That means that they have a substantial network and probably can very easily bridge to those people. They really want to, if they don't already have a factory, they buy a few just to start manufacturing, you know. And manufacturing itself is very powerful when it comes to just, I would say, delivering goods for the vicinity, especially within that country itself. And of course, you can export and stuff like that. But like, if let's say they want to, the new buyer has a stronghold, has a home base in where the factory is, right? That kind of is kind of perfect because they can, you know, reuse that factory to so many different things, right?
Yep.
So you get all three together. There's something to do. Either the new buyer can like, there's synergy between all three. Maybe I really want to come into the young space as well. If I say the new buyer to really come in, right, the new thing, it's like something that can relate to the more, I would say, younger audience, social media, the young people, because usually that is a bottleneck when it comes to different kind of like even in the agency, because they don't understand the kind of content that the younger audience wants to consume, you know. Then after that is you have that brand there, which is just Fnatic. You're known there, and maybe this one will be better fitted to companies in the West because they have a very strong presence and branding there already. In the East, maybe Southeast Asia, in the East, maybe not so much, you know. But in the West, yes, they're on par there. Then after that, the manufacturing line. Yeah, so see what kind of products they want to do. If they want to go especially into like peripherals, which is their existing line, then that's kind of it works perfectly as well. So yeah. So but like you said, maybe they just want them to, for a specific reason. It could be, hey, I want to dip into esports. Let's use the team name. Hey, I want like you know, to bring you on as like this group of people who know how to market for me. I'll bring you on for that one. So yeah, it could be a few different angles.
Which is a good segue to the next part that I want to put up for discussion. So Fnatic, obviously international, a lot on the West, some East-ish for older people. Congratulations. Yeah. But closer to our region, lah, right? It almost sounds like there are orgs going to a similar model. So Toda has also announced that, okay, they are going to pull out all their esports teams, and as of this recording, all the open for transfer social media is already out there.
Yeah.
And the owner himself has also mentioned that they want to move into a sponsorship model. So it almost sounds like, let's say if somebody buys Fnatic and then, I still want to dip into esports, but I don't want the risk of having a team, I'll just sponsor teams or I'll just sponsor events and put my Fnatic there, however it's going to work, right? So it almost sounds like Toda is also doing this kind of direction. Do you see similarity there, or it's different?
I feel like there's, how do you put this? The main risk for me in esports, right, is not how much money you have to invest. It is how it is actually building a team. Because in the end, if you're an esports organization, everything rides on that team performing towards a certain way. Usually the benchmark is the team must win number one. That's the usual typical benchmark. But there are ways to kind of navigate from there, because sometimes you position yourself as you are just always in these leagues, or you are in every single competition out there. So everybody kind of knows you. You know, you don't have the glory number one spot, but you're everywhere. So there's different ways to do it. But in the end of the day, it's still, can you make sure you can build this team and that team will stay with you long term? When I say long term, it's not one season. It is, I'm talking about, can they stay at least 1 year and above? Because it is a commitment from the players as well. So then like the risk there is that there are so many factors that the players suddenly can just decide to they don't want to play anymore, or they have other commitments, because most of these players are quite young. They eventually might want to go back. They have pressures, or rather they have pressures. They need to go back to university and so on, continue their studies. And maybe they need to start working already, because some people really enter esports in looking at the prize pool and the salary so they can support their family. Some are in that situation. So all of these are actually like really huge risks that can make us a team suddenly just dissolve after one season. Then when that happens, right, you need to find a new player, right? And you need to make sure that new player has like synergy within the team itself. So if you look at it like from, let's say your business also has other kinds of like segments, you're essentially trying to monetize on this team, get sponsors and so on, right? But it all still revolves around this team, and you own it. You don't just own the overhead of having to maintain the players. You own also the task of needing to manage them. So flip it on the flip side. If you just come in as a sponsor, that de-risks that part so much. Like, of course, one, it does reduce your monetary cost. It does also, in a way, it also does reduce your potential ROI, because if you are the team owner, you can profit. You can get revenue of the entire stream, everything that comes in the sponsorship and so on. But if you're the sponsor, you don't. Your idea is to sponsor a team, so you can gain marketing value from whatever this team does, their performance, their social media, and so on. And then you can sell your product that you have associated to your brand. So you get less ROI, but you get less risk as well at the same time.
Yeah, and to the team itself, there's more visibility to the team.
Correct.
So if people want to say another sponsor or partner wants to work out something, they will look for the team.
Yeah.
Yeah. Unlikely they will look for the sponsor.
Correct.
Unless there is different reasons. But on the surface, they just say, hey, I just want to work with the team. You know, they're carrying the name. The players are the faces. They go on interviews. They can say all the things that they want to say and all that.
Yeah.
So by doing that, yes, it's lower risk,
I would say.
Lower risk, but also potential returns are lower lah.
Yeah. But I think in the end, it's like, what's your risk appetite, right? Because
this like investment like financial investment.
Basically. Yeah. So
basically it.
Yeah. So I mean, even sponsorship is technically like a spend on marketing, right? So let's marketing or promotions, whichever way you want to put it. So let's say you spend X amount of dollars on sponsorship. You're going to be evaluating internally, should I spend it on ads, or spend it on influencer partnerships, or spend it on, just partnerships with other brands in general versus sponsorship, right? So everything is like a kind of calculated risk, even from the sponsor side of things. So it's just that the risk that let's say their risk versus the team owner's risk, that the difference there is that the team owner takes on the risk of maybe they might not be able to break even if they don't win the prize money, But the sponsors, when they do sponsorship instead, right, the team doesn't win. You still get exposure from there. You don't get like you're the number one, that kind of exposure, but you still do get exposure for riding along. You support these fans. Then it's just a way of how you your messaging that you push out to attract their fans to want to buy your product. So yeah.
Well, we also don't know what the direction of Toda is, other than them saying that we will sponsor teams or events and all that. So are they going to go down the lifestyle apparel, or are they going to go, I don't know, sell keyboards? I don't know, right? They do have keyboard lineup.
They have a lot of things.
They do.
So when you say we don't know what, I'm guessing in my mind is like they can actually sponsor a lot of their own products. So they could be doing it that way. They kind of form internal kind of self projects, and then they sponsor their own things to push it out. Maybe they partner with other people here and there as well.
Yeah, I was so happy I was speaking to someone from Toda, or formerly Toda. I don't know what's the status exactly. Now, with all the
yeah,
free agents and
yeah.
all that, right? But anyway, somebody who has affiliation with Toda, right? And then he was so we were talking about the keyboards and the mouse and all that.
Right.
So apparently it's not their best-selling product. One thing is also because of competition.
Right.
You just named all the brands earlier, right? And also custom keyboards and all that. Tough competition. And apparently what he said that the even he himself feels that the product is not good or not up to standard. They had a moment where they tried to revamp the product, so they did R&D, and then they came out with a prototype. They let the PC players try it out first, and then the PC players say, okay, that's good enough, but they didn't proceed to further it. Yeah, so I guess it's also maybe, so I don't know, right? Maybe it's because like the investors thought that, before this was already a failed product, so for us to proceed forward with another one, how the confidence level is not there lah.
Yeah.
So it didn't happen. And on top of some of the products that we know, like the chairs and all that, I was also told some products, which I forgot already what exactly those items are. But when I heard it, it's like, they're also into that, that sort of feeling. Apparently, they have a really wide range that they have tried and tested lah. But some of them went a little bit further, some of them not so far. Like a bit further, I think like the gaming chairs, they're everywhere.
Yeah,
right?
That's the one that I think they are more well known for. Right?
Yeah. Every other event you will see a Todak gaming chair.
Yeah.
So I think that since they already have that supply chain on how to come up with those kind of products, I wouldn't be surprised if they just hit down the lifestyle path.
Yeah. True.
Yeah, and I think the lifestyle path is a very big potential as well. Like that day, the event we went, La La Land.
Yeah.
So that La La Land is like this lifestyle event, right? And then we see a lot of the younger crowd. They go for the fashion. Yeah, and we did ask like some of the people there, right? Why are you queuing so long for this shirt that to us who is not in the scene is a shirt lah, right? And then he says that the shirt is special in the way that you buy now, you walk out the door, you can resell for double the price. So apparently it's like those collector lifestyle sort of thing lah, right? So I see that as, okay, and it's a target the younger crowd, and they're willing to spend 200-300 for a shirt and flip it for double walking out the door. I see this as a potential market that maybe Todak might go for.
Yeah. The lifestyle apparel thing, like the flipping that whole economy, right? I heard of it from, I had some friends who did shoes and sneakers before as well. So
I believe sneakers are there also.
Yeah. So I mean, there's a sneaker that kind of conversion that went on for a while as well. So it's because sneakers back, I think maybe 5 years ago, it was huge where they would buy it and they will flip it for like 2-3 times, but they buy it auctions instead. So then like Todak going through that, like definitely it's one way for them to go lah. Probably they just need to fine tune how they in the end is like capture more market share, I feel, because like the whole process that you described of them doing their product, like the QA process and so on, right? Sure, that is you test with gamers and so on. Then do you limit test it? Really stress test to the max. And after that, once the product is out, like sometimes when you have a lot of competition, then it's about how do you partner with other people to get exposed to that new customer base. So maybe let's say, for example, you run ads, probably you reach them as well. But if you partner with people who those same group of people also like, right, their affinity towards you goes a lot better. A lot of brands are actually using partnerships to just grow and reach and secure more new customers as well.
You know, the esports brand locally in Malaysia that successfully did that is Homeboys.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Even the jerseys, I wouldn't even call it jerseys. Some of them are just regular streetwear, but they become collectibles at some point.
Yep.
Yeah, at some point they won't reprint it anymore, and whatever that's out there is out there already. And I remember watching a podcast before. I think it was Daddy Hood's podcast. He brought in somebody who actually collects all the Homeboys apparel. Like this guy has a full collection. Then he shows oh, this one is like limited edition. This one's hard to get. Blah blah blah. All that. And their style also you can see is towards the lifestyle that's all trendy thing. So I actually see Torak going there lah.
Yeah, I mean they could emulate that process, right?
Yeah, they could.
Yeah.
Because there's already a case study that is
Yeah.
proven, and Torak is also a well-known brand. Even if people don't follow esports, they might have heard of Torak also.
Yep.
To that extent.
Yep.
Yeah.
I think the key ingredient there is just they need to make jerseys or apparel, and the key is that would people wear this every day?
Oh, let's not forget they also have Torak Music.
Oh wow!
Which I don't know is it still, but they had a music production.
Okay.
Yeah, whether it's still active or not, I don't know lah. Yeah, but
Okay.
I know that they had a music production.
Wow.
So imagine that. Okay, they have a music production, lifestyle. It just blends in.
I mean, they have that studio as well,
Yeah.
right? So technically, everything could kind of exist there.
And Torak content is
Content.
also good. So
And
they know how to
they
do.
do animation as well because they have a
They do animation
yeah
as well.
they have a game dev studio, so they know they technically could do the whole thing. So,
So they have the infra to do the whole thing. It's just like what you say, all right, okay, fine tuning and then focusing on which areas that they want to go for.
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah. So,
Interesting. I look forward to seeing what they would do.
what do you think is like besides the apparel thing? What do you think is like the one thing that they might go into?
I don't know if you want to say like those like the chairs and all that. Are they part of apparel or not?
Well, let's just say yes.
Okay, if that's a yes, then okay. A secondary, now that I think about it, would be music.
Oh, okay.
Oh, hang on. Okay, I have another. Because they do good content also, they know how to produce.
Yeah.
They'll probably go down the content route.
Game publishing.
I mean, they have Mastra on the way.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, but is that going to be the reason why they sponsor teams? I don't think so. And plus, it might be a conflict of interest as well.
Yeah.
Mastra is a MOBA.
True.
Yeah.
True.
But I think if the next one, then probably they will turn themselves to an agency. No, I don't know. I kind of don't see that.
I feel their DNA is more like they own their own products. And sell, because that's how they've been doing it all the time.
Correct.
And I mean, agency itself has its own different kind of a talent that you need as well. So
to me, lot lifestyle.
Yep. Lifestyle, definitely.
Chilan. If we got it right, we get the first batch, okay? Just saying. Right. Right. But yeah, okay. So they I guess from how it has built up already, and they have actually announced this like even by now 2 years ago, and they just slowly like put the puzzles together, and finally it's being executed lah. So I think from a business perspective, to a certain extent, I can see their direction.
Yeah.
But there are also some other orgs that I wouldn't say I won't want to put myself in the picture, but on behalf of the fans, there's some orgs who no longer in the scene. I don't know what's the right word. Dissolve, pull out. Okay, that made the fans like, why, right? Sam9.
Right.
Yeah. So
this one I'm curious because I was involved with Sam9. Then together I'm no longer there. So and then like the team also announced, no
Yeah.
longer there as well.
Mm.
So I have been seeing it from the inside. So I'm curious, what have you heard from the outside?
I mean, okay, from a fan's perspective, lah,
Yeah,
right?
yeah,
Okay,
yeah.
obviously nobody expected that. From a fan, they didn't expect it. They thought that Sev9, you have PUBG Mobile, this lineup of players. Yeah, it wasn't the best result and all that, but every time fans always have hope, and they are also super fans. Shout out to ID, ID.
Yeah.
Oh no. Okay. Shout out to ID. Okay. There are also super fans who continuously support regardless of whatever result it is. And to them it came as a shock lah, because Sep9 has a notable lineup and a notable brand as well. And it seems like, okay, whatever it is, we still move on, go next, go next, go next, until somehow the formula is found. And I believe that's what the fans are hoping for lah. And that's why they still follow the Sep9 brand every season. So it definitely came as a shock to a lot of fans lah.
Yeah, definitely. I think when the deeper story behind it, I think that one I will leave it respectfully to Kevin and Tommy to tell more deeper about it. But what I can say is that Tommy and Kevin definitely have always been really passionate in wanting to build Sev9 in terms of one to be like this platform where young players can really go out there and bring out their talent, showcase their talent. That's why it was always like this team that is always in PMSL and always regional level. Tommy is always behind the scenes, cheering and pushing the players to keep on doing their best.
And Sep9 has social media numbers.
Yeah, yeah.
Easily.
And the social media numbers part, it is, I think it is a work together with like at one point, the Kevin pushing the business to be able to partner with many different, like the publisher relations and so on, and then different partners that we go along the line. And then together with like Tommy's vision to maintain that team as the main anchor as well. So that combination, I think, was what really pushed the brand, forward. And then I would say the things that you don't really see on social media would be the moments where like the ownership, like Tommy, Kevin, they are quite involved, going on ground to even greet the fans. We have fan WhatsApp groups and so on that, there's a lot of interaction there with the ownership as well. So that built like, I would say, a sort of camaraderie as well. So it's not just like the social media hype and then the postings going out. It's also like that relationship with the fans. The fans talk, we actually receive their feedback and so on. And that whole journey is what built the legacy of Sev9 until today. Then and I believe like you said, even though like the team no longer exists, the fans still like would love to see or the team come back, or they still talk about Sev9. Like I think right now everybody's probably wondering like what's Yuhai's next move.
Yeah.
And so on. Right.
What's
so,
Yuhai's next move?
Honestly, I have
We
no
can clip
idea.
this part.
Honestly, I have no idea.
Oh, okay, cannot clip anymore. Sorry.
Yeah.
It will be $1 million.
Yeah,
clip,
yeah.
but anyway.
So I mean, this is just like hints that I also am seeing online. Like I know he recently signed with another like KOL agency. And then he also signed now. He seems that he's playing with another group of guys. Like I don't know whether that's just his team. He's probably on his own. It might be. So maybe he's going like independent team. Won't be surprised if like Tencent, PUBG Mobile find some way to approach him, to do some sort of like a special team, give him a special slot. Not surprising because he's a player that has a certain caliber. Right. So yeah.
You know what? And now that you're bringing this up, right? Like the social medias of PUBG Mobile Esports now has been from time to time highlighting the Yuhai's legacy.
Yeah. I don't think it's just Yuhai. They also noticed they highlighted even Sev9, what was the best lineup.
True.
Right. So they are, I think,
Is this a build up to something? Well, we wouldn't know.
who knows? Yeah.
Unless,
Who
well,
knows? Yeah. Who
unless
knows?
you know what. Okay.
Sorry, I unfortunately I have no idea either. But I think that's testament to, like you said, like the social media, just the cloud there that Sam9 has built over the years, right? Even after Sam9, the PUBG Mobile team has exited the scene, they are still riding on that whole sentiment towards the team, the fan base, the fandom, to want to see, to get the reaction from the fans, and the fans are reacting. They're like, what's going to happen? What's going on, and so on, right? So yeah.
Yep. So I guess I'll put the hot take here right now, right? Since we have compared and we have discussed a Fnatic, Toda, and Sem9 from international to a little bit closer to home sort of teams, right? So the hot take question is, do you think teams are finding it hard to survive in the current era?
I think the answer is definitely yes. And I don't think it's just teams. I think it is any kind of business that's been built around esports. Is I think after pandemic, there was already a reset started already. So that started the wave. And then now, what's happening is that during pandemic, esports was the hype train. Everybody wanted to join it because of one reason. It was lockdown. Not just nobody knew what else to do, but even the businesses were still figuring out how to function. But esports already figured out how to do everything 100% remote from the start, because unlike traditional broadcast, which is very based on hardware, esports broadcast is very based on, and live streaming and so on, go to Twitch anywhere, it's very based on software. The bare minimum you need is a PC or even a phone nowadays, then you can go online. So esports was the hype train. Everybody wanted to do it because it was the thing that was still active and so on. And then even the viewership numbers were insane. Like apparently there was up to 10x more viewership on esports because everything else probably was just too boring. So yeah, so that was the boom.
Everything else couldn't run.
Yep. That's true as well. That's true
no
as well.
Badminton, no anything else, right?
That's true as well. So then after COVID, after pandemic, lockdown, loosen, everybody had to get out again. That's where like those numbers started dropping back to, I would say, the normal kind of, views that they would get. So what I heard was there was at least a slash of like half or 3 times the viewership it went down. Then that's where like you no longer have so much interest to really ride and invest on esports anymore. Then naturally, the investor money would go elsewhere, right? Because maybe in pandemic, people thinking this is probably going to be a long-term thing, right? Then 2 years later, turns out it's not. It's the new normal, right? So, and then when that kind of investor interest got out, then you see people starting to put money in other kind of businesses already, and esports loses momentum because of that. Then like throughout the years also you see like different kind of business model needs to happen. So maybe from started you just rely on sponsors and you rely on your merchandise and your prize money. So these three are the main buckets. Then later on the years, like your sponsors, you cannot exactly even do the traditional way of just putting your logo on your jersey anymore. It's not that easy anymore because brands are also becoming more savvy in what exactly are my returns. It's not just about the number of media value that I'm getting. It's also how do I make sure this amount actually converts into my customers. The attention economy sure is there. Esports is huge. But in the end, businesses run only when customers buy their products. Right? So the idea is how do you convert that? So over the years, sponsors becoming more savvy as well. And some have even shifted towards, I don't want to sponsor, I want to do campaigns instead with you. So it becomes like a marketing activation instead already. So that itself has a lot more complexity towards it, requires different kind of expertise. So even before now, like you say, are esports finding it struggling? I think after pandemic, or it already started. It's just that now that I think looking at some of the ways that the publisher developers are investing in their products, right? They might not be so reliant on just the teams anymore. They're kind of diversifying into doing a lot more partnerships as well. So if you see titles like Honor of Kings, they are going to partnering with different brands across the region, just to do activations. They are partnering with even like there's F&B brands. There is also mobile brands as well. It's just because they see this synergy where, like I said, people who love esports also love these products. And the whole lifestyle thing that you say Toda might go to, Toda esports brand. Esports people also have a life. So they have a lifestyle, right? So it's connected. And I think like probably even publisher developers, they are also going more towards like seeing what else can they do, you know, compared to let's say working super closely with just esports teams. They're also working with other people as well. So yeah, I think the answer to your question is yes, but it's not just esports teams.
Yeah, and this is what I always tell to people, right? Whatever numbers that you see during the pandemic, the first few years, 2020, 2021, maybe even 23 to a certain extent, to me, I always say that that's the outlier number. The normal number is what we see today.
Yeah.
This is the normal. So it should be treated as like, okay, whatever planning that you have, strategy that you can think of, it should be around what it is today rather than, or how do we get back that pandemic number?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's going to be very, very difficult because
I mean,
of circumstances.
you were a streamer, so you got hit by it like
Oh,
firsthand,
yeah.
right?
Oh yeah, yeah. No doubt I was one of those people who got lucky lah
Yeah.
during that time. Yeah. I mean, even just streaming PUBG Mobile, just open, talk something or open scream lobby for people. My viewership can go like,
Yeah.
and then I even got a Facebook partner at that time. Yeah. Yeah.
Yep.
So yeah, that definitely is an outlier. Now, here's the thing, right? We talk about like Fnatic able to like at that 2017, 2016 able to pivot into doing like whatever that they did at the end, and that helped them to become a 100 million valuation company today. What's stopping all these big organizations from doing the same? Okay, I think that can be our point of discussion. Just today I saw Team Secret getting into Web3.
Right.
Yeah. I just saw like a tweet like that, so it was very short. Not much explanation. Maybe it's just an opener lah. That's one. OG, before this, they have also announced that they are getting into Web3 as well. So we can see that okay, this major organizations trying to pivot into something else, which I think is much needed, because 70% of the esports revenue is based on sponsorships. And like how you have explained it earlier, sponsorships are getting more difficult because sponsors themselves, they want more than just a logo on your jersey.
Yeah.
Then coming back to our point of discussion here, they want to bring up, why do you think teams are not diversifying or pivoting? Maybe Web3, maybe not Web3, whatever it is, why not?
So I think that maybe it comes down to the DNA of most people, why they started esports in the first place, right? So most people who start esports because it is still I would say it's a nascent industry, right? Means it's new. So I believe maybe still 90% of the people doing it, they are doing it because they are really passionate. So when you look into the passion of esports, right, the things that you want to do or you want to make happen, right, is that um
Oh, don't worry.
cannot pick
This
up.
mic cannot pick up one. It is
Okay.
that good.
Okay. So I need to restart. So if you look into the passion, like why people are passionate about esports, right? It is because they want to watch teams make it. They right now maybe the narrative is that when can the next Malaysian team win EWC, right? Or when can the next Malaysian team win Mobile Legends, the World Series again? Like M7 is going on right now, right? So esports passion is always built towards like watching teams succeed, doing these great events out there and so on, right? Um, there's not as many people who really look at it in a way where how can I make this like sustain in the long run, right? So I think even if let's say those same people they want to make it happen sustainable route, right? They will still focus on how can I sell better events to people, how can I create better events, or how can I get people to support my teams to really make it all the way to and so on. Because you see all these stories about even like non-esports, the athletes, they get gold. Like Lee Jong Wei is, I mean, forever silver most of the time, but still, he's always out there. He's out there. Everybody recognizes him, his achievement, and so on. Right. But esports probably is the same thing. Like they will always look more towards those things compared to other stuff, which in the end is, I believe, for me, more sustainable. It is you need to have ownership of something. So not just ownership of your team. Your team essentially is a marketing tool. But you need to, the best way to eventually become more self-sustaining is you make this marketing tool, use it to pitch to some product owner and say that maybe it can be FMCG, it can be lifestyle and apparel or anything. But you have ownership of those products and you use your esports team as the marketing tool to go and sell them. But the typical esports person, they won't think like that. It's just their background. It's just like when you find different kind of like investors, they also have different interests when they come in. Some investors will say, I want you to go this direction, grow the team because I believe in it. Because in the end, that is how they want you to use their money, right? So other investors come in, can the team be sustainable or not, right? Then they think about how do you diversify, how do you see parallels between your your business, your team business can do this, they can do a bit of agency work here, you can do a bit of content here, can do a bit of chaos here, kind of stuff. So I think in the end it boils down to just the DNA of most people right now in sports because it's still so new, it's still very passion driven. So most people they won't really look towards like how do I break down the economies of who is going to pay money to support my event or support my team versus actually who will pay money to support a product that they own themselves and what are the margins like there as well. So, in marketing, most of the time, yeah, you get maybe 15, 20% of the budget for the overall. But imagine that if you're getting 15, 20%, you're making like, let's say 7-figure sponsorship deals, right? What's the total amount of money somebody is using to make their product?
It's going to be a lot more.
It's going to be a lot
Yeah.
more. And for them, right, that 15, 20% that they're dedicating to the marketing budget, right, is a portion of their expenses. And they already budgeted that, means that they estimated that already still have enough margin for them to make money in the long run. So that is actually one way of thinking about why you own a product business. Be part of it at least is that you get to own compared to the 15-20%, you get to own 100%, and you get to determine and see where is that. And because you are also doing the marketing, right? Naturally, you work a lot more closely to that because you have no barriers when it comes to information. You know exactly how it's performing and exactly how the levers that you need to push, right? So it just works so much better that way. So, yeah.
So a lot of what you say, right, it still falls, from what I hear, like, it still falls back to like, okay, whether you see yourself as a marketing tool, you go out there, you reach out to, again, here comes the keyword, sponsor. So
Yeah, yeah,
this is where I kind of think that we are still, I mean, a lot of the conversation is still falling back to the 70% of
correct,
esports revenue is based on sponsorship. And
correct,
sponsorship is very volatile.
correct,
So
correct.
that's why I am looking forward to see how OG and Team Secret with their
Yeah,
involvement in Web3, what's going to happen next.
yeah,
Because if it somehow works out, I mean, I'm not a Web3 expert in the first place, lah, right? But it's not sponsorship dependent. Yeah. Do you think that teams should think away from just relying on sponsors, or do you think the sponsorship pool is still there?
Um, I definitely
And we're
think,
talking about tier one teams, by the way.
yeah,
We'll go to the tier two and community teams after this. Yeah.
yeah, for tier one teams, definitely, I believe, right, they are already big enough, in terms of not just legacy, but in terms of also financial backing as well.
I mean, even Team Secret and OG,
Yeah.
they are diversifying.
Yeah, to really think about how do I have ownership of something that I can serve as a marketing tool towards, that my fans will really want to buy into this. It doesn't need to be all of them. It just needs to be maybe even a portion of them. They will buy this product.
So you're
They
saying
will
a
use
physical product that they own themselves, lah.
I mean,
Jerseys and
go
all
lah.
that.
It can be jerseys. I mean, even like NFTs, all that. Like, yeah, the hype isn't there anymore. But that's something that what can you do? What do your fans right now enjoy as just a consumer? You know, of, let's say, in their daily lives. You got to think about that, and then see whether you can strike out some ownership deals, and you go into that to diversify.
Frankly, if
Yeah.
we talk about, like, let's say apparel is one of the diversification, right? I had this thought of like, how many shirts can one person wear? You buy
Yeah,
one jersey, you buy two jerseys, and then you have your other clothing as well. Then will you buy the third, fourth, fifth jersey? Maybe, depending on how
Yeah.
hardcore fanatic you are. Some people fizzle out over time. It's like, oh, I just have too many shirts in my wardrobe already.
Yeah.
And sometimes jerseys are not cheap,
yeah.
depending on
Yeah,
the brand.
but if you look at it another way,
Mm.
it's like, sure, you're just talking about jerseys, right?
Okay.
But what about your everyday life? Do you only wear jerseys? And there are probably certain kind of situations where you don't want to wear a jersey.
Okay.
So those situations are the ones that, the teams out there can say, hey, I have a t-shirt now. And you could wear it during your, when you don't feel like wearing a jersey, you can wear my t-shirt instead.
And my t-shirt's cool.
Yeah, and my t-shirt looks cool. Or even if it's just blank, right? The t-shirt is made by me.
Yeah, like a Muji, right?
Yeah, yeah.
Muji is like all the blank shirts.
Yeah, yeah. Or you can say like, hey, once in a while you like to go out to party, have our celebrations here and there, right? You want a dress shirt. I make that too. So you find different instances that they experience in their life that they will use certain things. So sure, I definitely believe for the everyday person, they have their own preference of what they would buy already, right? Like, I think probably you and I are quite similar. We are like, okay, either, for me, I only wear this most of the time black or blue shirt.
If you wear any
that's
other
me.
color,
Yeah.
something's wrong that day.
Yeah.
Or
So
something's happening that day.
yeah. So for yourself is that you wear your millions of jerseys out there that you have, right? Yeah.
No reason for me to buy new shirts.
Yeah. But that's the thing. There's no reason. But what if your favorite team or your favorite QL suddenly tell you, hey, I want to buy this? Like, I'm pretty sure a Dota team comes to tell you, hey, we're producing this thing right now. And then everybody's going to wear it to this New Year celebration that we are hosting. And then they'll imply in your head, hey, maybe every New Year I wear this thing instead.
Which
Right.
is true. Which
Right.
is true. Which is true.
I remember
Which
you
is true.
mentioned before, you go to TI, you buy that.
Oh,
Right. It's the
Yes.
same kind of thing.
yes, which is very true. Which is very true. And I still buy.
Yeah.
And they're also
Yeah.
US dollars.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's, of course, I guess the user journey, everyone has their own story to tell. Like
Yeah,
my story with TI was like, when else am I going to see TI? And
exactly.
now all this original apparel is in front of me.
Exactly.
Bam.
Exactly. Yeah.
I don't know, I probably wore it once or twice only, but it's still like, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sort of thing.
Yeah. So I
Team
think
Liquid, by the way.
yeah.
They didn't win, but it's fine.
So I think in the end of the day, it's just
Matung Baman, the man. Anyway.
I think it's just finding those people, what your customers like. So yeah, sure, it's no longer the typical esports. You come to TI, this is the only place that you can buy this, right? It's no longer that kind of sentiment, but it is like, hey,
it's a fan collectible.
Yeah, fan collectible one, and also like you actually tell them. I'm pretty sure there are people who wear different kinds of apparel for different kinds of scenarios that they go to, right? Some for work, they wear different things. Outside of work, they wear different things. They go to a nice dinner date, they wear different things. They go out with their friends, they wear different things. So it's just about finding that kind of, they call it customer profile, and then asking them, hey, what might this person need? And then you build it for them. And those people, the magic is they exist within the fans.
Which reminds me of a local org that I thought did it well, but didn't have enough time.
Okay.
Team Path.
Right.
When
That's
they
That's
released their sweaters,
it
was no doubt expensive, but they had that NFT inside it.
Correct.
Yeah, right. If you remember that one. Were you at the launching when they did that?
I wasn't, but like I looked through their stuff, it was really cool. And I think
it looks really nice as well.
Yeah, and they had a re-tie-in because like you said, it's the right timing. NFT comes in. And then, the whole thing where the people, their fans, they know their fans. That's why they designed the apparel in that manner.
Yeah, in the cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, that fans would like. I like it.
Yeah.
No doubt.
Yeah.
I like it.
So like they really know their fans. Yeah. So, and then they have the added NFT tag there, which is like, kind of sort of ownership into this community of people. It brings you closer as well. So that's the kind of thing that, esports teams and all can really bring to the table. So yeah.
Too bad they didn't give themselves enough time.
Yeah, I guess so.
Launch that, and then not too long later the team dissolves and everything just goes. They just invested in something else.
Yeah,
and all that. But yeah, that would have been pretty nice. But since that has been done, do you think those ideas are still relevant moving forward?
I believe yes. It really depends on, I would say, like the org itself, what their kind of minimum benchmark of success, what it looks like, right? So the thing about being in a huge organization, right? Most of the time, your minimum benchmark to succeed, it needs to be super huge as well. So maybe for like an SME, for example, 10,000 ringgit sales, awesome. For an org, right, they're like, this thing needs to hit minimum 1 million. So one of the things, I think the challenges that a lot of these orgs will face is that can this product line or can this product become that next $1 million kind of line, right? So whereas that is like how the typical, I would say, business we want it to run, right? The other concept that people sometimes do is they do a lot of testing here and there. I think the whole A/B testing thing is not something new nowadays because everybody is doing the whole like more lean method. They try to sell first and do MVP, and then if people get some traction, then they scale further from there, right? Then like I believe at least for esports, right, that kind of methodology will work better at this point because although esports has been around for a while now, they are, I would say, very matured kind of customers coming in, but still, I don't think many esports org out there have really cracked how to monetize their fan base yet. They are just starting. So even from my experience so far, right? Maybe only in the past 2-3 years have I really started to apply like how can we really crack that formula to monetize. And it's not just like what they will buy, it's also how do you even recognize the signals that this product can go further than it can only sell 50 pieces. Can it sell sell 1,000 pieces, you know? We need to be very clever in really noticing those kind of signals. So it is multiple things that I feel a kind of like education process or just learning process that esports orgs need to go through. Even the tier one orgs, otherwise Fnatic probably has 10 different like product lines already, you know. They now the only one that we really know is like still the Fnatic gear, right? Other
Still
than,
series.
yeah. So other than that, they haven't really diversified, correct? If they already figured the whole path out, right, they probably have so many more different ones already.
They probably will still continue, or it's not 100 million, it's 500 million or something, right?
Correct. It's probably 1 billion, you know. I mean, consumer products is huge.
True.
Right? So that's the thing. I think that whole journey of figuring things out, right? It's not just about, let's say I need the minimum 1 billion. Maybe it's about I just be honest. I know that my fans will buy this, but I haven't really asked them before. So people always say like the only real determinant of success is you put your product out there and will they buy. That's it. Everything that you plan and R&D towards that point, right? It's kind of just it is educated guesses. But the real test is put a product out, will they buy or not?
Now this makes me wonder, right? What is the thought process behind the meme, the Sambot jersey?
So for me, I wasn't like there yet when that came out.
Okay,
You
but
know,
were you
but
aware
I
of the discussions?
yeah, but I asked around. So how did this come out? You know,
Yeah.
so it is truly one of those like just hey, the fans are going crazy with this.
Yeah,
Let's
every
do it.
social media is just Sambot,
Yeah.
Sambot,
Yeah.
Sambot.
Let's do it. That's it.
Acknowledge the Sambot.
Acknowledge it. So it is the I think how you put it is just give the customer what they want.
Was it with the intent of like, okay, we're going to sell a lot, or was it just like, okay, we layan you lor?
No,
What was the mindset?
they already
You
knew
know?
that it would sell.
Okay,
You already knew that it
it's
would
like,
sell.
it's going to make money.
Yeah, because in the end of the day, when people are asking for it like crazy, it's not just one instance.
Okay.
It
People
is.
don't ask for a Sambot jersey.
I know,
okay?
but that's the thing. It's like you ask for it, they're saying that meme, but then you think about what will people buy, and it's also who we need to sell it so that they will buy, right? So we Sam9 just created that jersey, and then who's the one we partner with is also like Homeboys. So then perfect match. People will buy for Homeboys, people will buy for Sam9. That thing is going not just one time, it's everywhere. That's it. It's a no-brainer.
Is it the most best-selling jersey
I think it is among the top.
among the top?
Yeah, among the top. Yeah.
I have to say that, sorry, but the design is just
I mean,
it's just no.
I mean, like,
But
if I'm being honest, I don't like it either. It's not my style, you know. But this is the thing. It's the same thing like I mentioned just now. Like, how among even agency world, that is like the new Gen Z the content that they make. Honestly, half the time I have no idea, but it works.
6-7,
Yeah, but it works. You know, it works.
okay.
So in the end, it's about culture,
Right.
right? Because Sambot is a culture thing already in esports among the Sam9 and the Homeboys fans.
Yeah, and then homeboard.
Yeah, so that's why it worked. The Sambot worked. So that's why the whole thing worked.
Okay, so whoever thought of that idea is brilliant.
Yeah.
I must say that, hands down.
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
shout out to the person, or you
yeah,
don't
so
know.
I think that one, if not mistaken, is probably Man Parang. So he was the one leading all the jerseys back then. So yeah.
Man,
So, yeah.
after this he's going to do a Magna bot or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
Nice. But
Because
Magna
like,
bot doesn't
yeah,
rhyme. You need to find something
like
else.
you said, you need people to chant it all day long. Then you know it's gonna work.
Right.
Yeah. So I think one thing about Man, he's one of those that I feel he's quite in tune with what the community kind of is looking for. Yeah, so whenever even
Although he looks old, but he's not that old
yeah,
in the first place.
yeah, and he always tells people that he has no idea what he's doing. And to be honest, he says that, but every single time I want to check a marketing idea with him, right? I'll go through him. I'll check with him. Hey, we have this thing, this method. Can you help me check whether this kind of messaging kind of works? Or do you think this will work? Then he will give you input. And his input is usually very much grounded in like, oh, the fans say this, the fans say that, and then he
will
kind of
always pull those.
he
signals,
kind of connects together. So he's actually pretty good to be in tune with that, even though he said he isn't. So yeah,
So from what I learned, right, like one of the, perhaps I'll call it a low hanging fruit, is just to give the fans what they want,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
The more difficult stuff is left for more strategic, long term, and whatever.
yeah,
But if you say that, okay, I want it now,
yeah,
just give the fans what they want. Even if they say Sembot or I don't know, all the teams have their own, right?
yeah,
I try to think of there's just too many. I can't think of one. Yeah, but there's just so many out there that gets memed if they don't perform. Just give them what they want, right?
yeah, yeah,
Maybe we should
yeah.
sell this apparel.
Yeah, so
Maybe we should sell
yeah.
this apparel.
I think that hype is over already.
Oh, okay.
Because no one's doing it anymore, right?
Wait till the next major game title team gets memed about.
Yeah,
Then we will sell.
yeah, yeah.
Lot.
Anyway, yeah.
That's our idea, okay? It's
Yeah.
IP'd here.
Debut here, I feed here. Wait, we need to find a lawyer to underwrite it.
Don't worry,
Already.
this video is releasing later anyway. We have time. Yeah. Oh, interesting. Interesting.
But yeah, I mean, in the end, like, that's what it really is about, because I think there's a lot in the business world that says that the most important thing in the end of the day is you must be obsessed with your customer, right? And if you're selling jerseys, your customers, your main customers are your fans. If they want it, right, do it. If you're afraid of it's too risky, maybe instead of printing, let's say 1,000 pieces is something that's too risky for you.
Make it limited edition.
Print 100 first lah. They ask for more, do again. Simple as that.
So to ask Lin, are you doing the Sembot jersey? Okay, right. April Fool's joke? Oh. Oh, okay. That would have been that was insane marketing. That was insane.
Yeah. So I think like Man he's brainchild for this, but the whole apparel line, right? Kevin is actually the one who started the whole thing with 7-9 because from gang and all, he brings in that kind of expertise. So yeah.
Yeah, not gonna lie, the gang stuff was good.
Yeah, it was.
It was. Okay, so I mean those are the tier 1 teams. We're gonna dive a little bit on the teams that are not tier 1. Tier 2 below lah. Put them in the same category lah.
Why don't you start? Because you've worked with some of these teams, and even you kind of do your own community have these things as well, right?
Yeah, I have my own team as well. We got chicken dinner in a PMNC before, by the way. Just saying. Yep. Yeah, but those were interesting times. Okay, the one thing that I always get lah, right? From time to time I'll get people DMing me. Who I know they are from tier 2 teams. They will just ask, how do I get sponsored?
Right.
So the first thing I ask them is that, do you have a pitch deck? Right? Introduce yourself, whatever, and all that. And what I realized is that even that also they don't know what it is. Nowadays, of course, you can, if you don't know, you just prompt AI and it visualize for you, lah, right?
Hopefully AI doesn't hallucinate for you.
Yeah, hopefully, and it gives you totally something else, right? But yeah, I guess it's quite straightforward, like if it's like teams who are tier 2 and below. Because I understand from their perspective as well, right? It's easy to see your favorite team and get inspired by them and see them having, this sponsor on that jersey, that sponsor on that jersey and all that. But they don't understand how the mechanics works, like how you explained it earlier. It's no longer just putting a logo on and that's it. Majority of the time that I see, even if they have some level of like how it works, they are limited to this my jersey, mock up, logo on shoulder, logo on the back, logo on the chest. The what do you call it? Those spots, the advertising spots are there, and that's about it. Nothing else. So I think that there needs to be a whole lot of education on how this works at that level, rather than just on the surface of this putting up a logo.
Yeah, I think to add on to that, right? A lot of people underestimate how hard it actually is to get sponsorship, or just to do esports marketing in general. Because like people think that esports marketing, it is like how do you hype out your players and all. Yes, that's true. But that's only half the battle. The other half, right? It's about getting those sponsors in and then fulfilling the deliverables and so on, right? But the challenge there, why it's so hard, is that you come into a team thinking about, I would need to learn this team's identity, the players and so on. How do I market them, right? How do I tell people how awesome they are and so on? Now, I need to help a sponsor do marketing. And the challenge there is because now you need to learn the sponsor's identity as well. And if you're doing marketing in esports, right, you're going to be dealing with multiple different sponsors at the same time throughout your whole career. And why it's hard is because now you have become a person that needs to, every single sponsor, not just that you get, but even that you pitch and approach, you need to understand what they need, understand their identity, their brand, what products they sell and so, and how they sell it and so on. That's what makes it actually really hard. Not saying it's impossible, but it's just that people don't see that process behind the scenes. So then they think it's like you said, pitching, getting a sponsor is just, hey, this is my team, these are the slots, and this is how much it takes to do that, and that's it.
Okay,
yeah.
I want to put out a bit of a hot take for this.
Okay,
right?
okay.
So in your intro, you mentioned that when you played back then, you played League back then.
Yeah.
It wasn't about the money, right? You just wanted to win, even if it's just a mouse that you get from the CC as a prize, right?
Yeah.
You want to win that one.
Yeah.
And obviously, those times you play without anybody giving you anything.
Yeah.
You just go on your own.
Yeah.
I had my times as well in early 2000s where I go around CC and play CS 1.6 that time. Just join tournaments for fun. Never even thought about somebody's going to pay my bus ticket to the CC.
Yeah, that's the thing, right? Everybody just really, you want to play.
Yeah,
because you want to form a team and you try to win, right?
Yeah.
See how good you are.
And it's with a bunch of friends. If you don't win, it's okay.
Yeah.
It's friends having a good time.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Why has it changed so much now that money is so like on top now?
Why has it changed? I think that more and more people are coming into esports because they have been sold this dream of, if let's say you become world champion or join these teams and win huge tournaments, that you can be a seemingly overnight success. You win, that is a true reality.
True.
Right. You can happen.
But not many people say that, hey, that's actually the 0.001%.
Yeah. So that is where I say this is where esports marketing has done really, really well. Because they can sell that dream so well, and everybody wants to do it. And then there are studies sorry, I don't know whether it's study, but people come out and say it is so believable because when you play game, it feels so easy to do what they do on screen, you know. And I think the illusion is further emphasized by matchmaking in rank. Let's say you go rank, you're going to matchmake versus people that are similar skill that you are, right? Then you go along, you play, then you slowly level up, right? Then you see, and sometimes, let's say you are like one of the lower tier ranks, and then you do the exact same thing that appeared on screen with that person who is not only the highest rank, but probably the best player in the world for that role, right? But it looks exactly like the same thing. It's just that behind all that veil, you don't see that there are teammates covering for them. It's a planned action that they are had. Their reflexes, how good they are, all this kind of stuff. You don't see that. It's not measured to you, right? But you don't, to an average person, the only feedback that you get is you're playing right, you're doing well, be exactly the same thing as they are. You could be them.
Your move is like...
You could be them.
right. Maybe your friends will say, hey, wow, your move, that move.
Yeah.
That guy did.
Yeah.
Faker did it.
Yeah.
Or whatever, right?
Yeah. So yeah, I think a lot of people are brought in by that. They want to do that. And then there's also this whole sentiment of, pursue your dreams and, all this kind of stuff. So then naturally they come in. And then I think it is the hope that they will get compensated for that, chasing that dream, right? And working really hard at it. Because these people, they really do work really, really hard.
Of course.
Yeah.
I would discount the fact that tier 2 teams work hard.
They work really hard. They grind. Let's say they have a full-time job or whatever, they come, they make sure that they, practice and stuff like that, everything. They really do everything that they can. So then naturally, like, you want to feel like there's some, return there lah. And I think sometimes for some people, maybe that turns into a bit of entitlement as well, because they're brought to expect that will happen. So for me, it's not surprising that he has turned from like just a hobby thing to now you can go pro, because these people really want to go pro. They've seen other people do it at the same time. So of course they want to emulate that lah. And then because they are also convincing their parents, their guardian or whoever, hey, I want to do this full time. They have a clock at the back already running, because their guardian and parent probably is like, if you cannot earn this much, you might as well go back, study, and just go back, study, and do a normal job.
Yeah, because it's quite common for me to receive like DMs, even like asking me to sponsor them. From time to time, I do get that, just because like, let's say they're from KL and they have a tournament in Johor, for example.
Yeah.
So they ask me like, hey, can you sponsor us like 1,000, 2,000?
Yeah.
For accommodation and transport and whatever lah, right?
Yeah.
And then they say that, we'll shout out you through our social media. So yeah. I mean, appreciate the fact that they put something on the table.
Yeah.
But then, okay. My point is that this asking, like when we played, I consider myself just a casual player, but I still went tournaments and all that. We never thought about like asking someone else for money for me to go and play games somewhere. Yeah, never. It's I choose to play my games. It's if my bus ride, it's my own cost. It's my own cost, whatever it is lah.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So how that has shifted so much to now that these sacrifices are not made as much as before.
Yeah.
So do you think that because of that, it's all about the money and less about the passion? And then of course the other counter argument will be like, well, passion cannot pay the bills.
True.
So where are we? So what do you think is the right way for like tier 2 teams like this?
So I think that in the end of the day, right, tier 2 teams realistically, they need to slog it out for the passion. If they really want to make it, um, the way is maybe find somebody, secure somebody, whether a private investor or somebody willing to pay fund some money, but really talk to these people as you're still trading at the same time, and at least you know that if you reach certain benchmarks, you might be able to secure some funding, right? Have that in mind as already. Then you work with your teammates that you bring in to be able to reach those benchmarks, so that that's not just that short term you need to grind for the passion and everything, but long term wise that is something that is secured for you as well. Because those people, like you said, they will come in at first for passion, then they join this outfit that's maybe joining these like the tournaments hosted by publishers and so on, right? They have no funding, but um they need to be realistic that that money is not just gonna drop out of the sky, right? It is either they're playing for the prize pool, means they need to grind it out first, and then the kind of remuneration comes later, right? Um, but at the same time, whoever is managing that team or owns that team needs to also make the effort to try to secure some form of investment already. And I feel those talks, right, don't have it um after the team has secured a slot in so-called league. Have it way before. Because you as the I think when it comes to the players, right, they're taking short term, and let them focus short term on the game, the next game, how they perform the next game, or this week during the league and so on, and focus on getting them to grind and so on. But they at the back of the head, they're also taking long term, and that role to take care of the long term, I feel can be taken on by the team manager themselves. So they need to be able to tell this team, I'm talking to people, I'm working on securing these kind of things, you know, but you need to reach these benchmarks, then we can get that funding in, you know, or we have a chance to even ask for it.
Yeah.
So I think there needs to be this short and long term kind of view.
Correct. I for me, my take is that no harm in, you know, if you're a tier 2 team, you want to go out and ask for anyone support. To me, it's okay, right?
Yeah.
Like you do your pitch, right? It's fine.
Yeah.
Is it wrong? Not wrong. But should you depend fully on it? Definitely not.
Yeah.
Because if a tier 2 team and let's say like, oh, just because this person doesn't want, or I cannot get a sponsor to go for this tournament, when if you see the tournament is not like you need to fly overseas or what, maybe it's like from Selangor to say Malacca, I think still pretty doable, still pretty realistic to go on your own. I think if you say that, or you want to pull out just because of like, oh, Selangor to Malacca, you know, not doable, and to me it's like, yeah, I think you're not cut out for this lah.
Yeah.
I'll simply
I think
put it this
that
way.
is like having the talk, you know, to those people that say, hey, we are going to be doing these kind of things, and this kind of money is going to be needed. So I feel that kind of talk, maybe a lot of tier 2 teams, they're not comfortable to have it with teammates who come on board, you know, say, sure, I like playing with you, but if you go to a tournament, I don't have enough money to pay for you.
Right.
Kind of thing. Right. You need to be able to fund yourself. But maybe once in a while there are people who can fund them, then all good, right? But that kind of conversation of the realistic situation needs to be had. So yeah. And yeah, I agree that they need to like just slog it out, because in the end, they cannot expect people to give them money.
Yeah.
So yeah.
I want to talk about our last segment here. Since we're still within the realm of team economics, about player salary and your take on it. Okay, so there are two types of models here that I've at least heard. Well, we don't have a standard because all these players, they are not governed under the labor law.
Yep.
Yeah. So they don't have the minimum salary of, in Malaysia, 1,700 ringgit and all that lah. So it's not. So this is where a lot of the gray area starts to come in, and different teams have their own models of how they compensate their players. So there are some compensation that I've heard is that players get a very, very low base salary. I wouldn't even want to call it base salary. I'll probably call it allowance. The lowest I've heard is 300 ringgit. Okay? But they can earn so much from the prize pool. The orgs' thought process is that this will drive them to win. Pretty much like sales people,
Yeah.
right? Like people sell insurance. We got base salary you earn based on the commission from your insurance sales. That is the thought process, right? On the other hand, you have players who have proper salaries and you still have the cut of the prize pool, which is still pretty nice. What's your thought about these two models? And because there's always this debate about like, oh, you drive performance on one model. On the other model, you probably lead them towards being what's the word for it? Content.
Or complacent.
Complacent.
Right. Yeah.
So what's your thought about this?
I feel it really needs to depend on the kind of people that you have on board in your organization, right? Be it your tier 1 or tier 2. And when I say people, right, it includes the players, the team managers, even the coaching staff and all as well, right? Because they all essentially work together to be able to facilitate the team success, right? So let's say if you are to go towards the model where super low salary and then really, really big cut from the prize pool.
Maybe you give them 90%
bonus and stuff like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, so I feel that kind of model probably works really good in tier 2 teams because they know that they cannot really afford them that big of a salary, right? If any, right?
Yeah, tier 2 teams, if any, yeah.
Yeah, if any, right? Then they probably, that's why that in the end they demand a cut from a bigger cut from the prize pool itself, right? Because they're not being paid regularly or being paid very, very high. So that is a huge driver. So, but why I say it depends on, let's say, the other people that you have on board, right? Is because, let's say you give them a decent salary, right? Like maybe something that is a bit more like a fresh grad, right? And this is, of course, they have a minimum standard to join the team, right? Maybe you give them like 2K to 5K, I think. But you provide them, usually you provide them living facilities and so on, right? So they don't need to pay for all of that. So 2K to 5K is something that is, I would say, reasonable to live in KL, a bit decent, right? You won't be scraping for scraps anywhere here and there. Then it determines on, can the coach, can the team manager maintain the kind of drive and discipline in these players to be able to perform already. Because if, let's say, the team manager that you have or the coach that you have, right, they're really good technically, they're really good logistically, administrative, right, but not so good when it comes to working with the players, getting them to just perform, right, then you got to think about, should I restructure the salary in a way to make them more like motivated themselves,
more KPI based, something like that.
Yeah. So of course, I think different teams, they have different kind of, I would say, minimum expectations that they have, because players, they join certain orgs because of those expectations of maybe they come with the kind of salary and so on, right? It's fair to have that kind of expectations, but it's also a discussion and also a negotiation where, let's say right, an org, they provide for where you stay, your internet all provided, you get maybe some allowance to go out to hang out here and there, right? And then your food all provided, right? Technically, your payment, right, is just there for you to perform already.
Yeah.
So if, let's say, all the necessities are provided, right, then it comes down to, and my team manager and so on, can't really like motivate the players to really push for performance, right? Because maybe there's this thing where they have always been number two. This team number one, they can never break through, right? Somehow. So maybe it's time to redevelop the whole salary structure versus the prize pool. If you really win, and there's a huge prize pool out there, right? I give you this.
But I'm pretty sure if
Huge
you do
cut.
that, players run away.
Most in those orgs, typically, yes. Yeah, but again, it is like you give them all the bare necessity. You give them a salary that is quite okay, and then you motivate them through bonuses and so on. So the salary maybe is still like minimum lah, not say like super low, like 300 ringgit. I don't think for a, let's say a tier one org that can provide all those facilities. I don't think anybody would stay. But you give like a much lower, maybe just average salary, you know. But if they win, they get better card or they get bonus and so on, you know. Then that can motivate them. Because I think that then on the flip side, some of them are more punishment. They react better to punishment. I think it's the carrot and the stick kind of mentality, right? Some people they react better to rewards. So then you do the carrot method. Like they better they perform the more. Then some of them they react better to punishment. So you take it away from them. You know, you give them if they don't perform certain method, you deduct their salary for like one season, that kind of thing.
And that could be a conversation more for the coaching method already.
Yeah.
That side of things.
Yeah. So I feel that when these things are implemented, right, it really needs to have discussion with whoever is making decisions on salary, which is usually the all organization management and the team manager and also the coaching staff as well. So all people are involved, so that there's I would say objective evaluation of how the team manager is performing, how the coach is performing, and versus how that is impacting the players' performance as well. Because ideally, you don't need to do that at all. You just pay a normal, decent salary based on their market rate or their previous performance, and they keep on going up over the years. That's the ideal situation because the team manager is doing really well in getting the team to bond together. The coach is doing really well in the team synergy in the game itself, working with the IGM and so on. Perfect scenario, right? So of course that is what typically everybody will go for. But sometimes you gotta change it up a bit. Because like you said, complacency sets in. Especially in team whose rosters where you want to really keep them for the long run. Complacency can set in very easily. Because if they know anytime I can be soft out, that is a different mentality that they have. They become naturally more competitive. They need to prove themselves and so on, right? But if they are not, they say you're committed for 1 whole year or 2 years, that kind of thing. Then complacency sets in a lot more easier. So that's where the more I would say, creative kind of compensation structures can come in. So yeah.
Interesting. I've read a Medium article from Ken. He explained that his thought process is different when it comes to teams. Is that people talk about like, okay, you keep the same team consistently, and then someday it will happen lah, right? But to him, it's like nope. Every season he will change until he finds the right fit. Yeah, so he doesn't, to a certain extent, he doesn't believe in like, okay, this same lineup is going to go like season after season, regardless of the result. Trust the process, blah blah blah. He's like, nope. Of course, there's a coaching methodology sort of conversation that we can do in a different episode lah.
Yeah.
Maybe with different coaches and how they have their thought process on. But on the team economic side, just to add on to your point, I know of one PUBG Mobile team in Myanmar that, if I'm not mistaken, I heard they have this model before. On top of like, okay, they got salaries, they got prize pool cards and whatever. Every time they scream, if they top the scream, they get a bonus for a scream. And when I heard that, it's like, wow. Well, at the end of the day, they became 4-time champion in Myanmar. So what? So it worked in that manner, lah, right? Like you dangle the carrot all the way.
No doubt. Because I mean it's a very, like, I would say, super incentive kind of method
Super.
to go
Yeah.
about it.
But
But
4-time champions. So,
yeah, but you know, it's working out for them. Then continue, right? So,
And
so
some-
yeah,
it works. I'm sure they would have evaluated the mentality of the players
Yeah.
and how they see things.
yeah,
Maybe some people would see it as, scream, how much money you gonna give me? Maybe say $100. It's not
Correct.
gonna move my bank account that much.
correct.
Then the mentality might be different. Maybe to these players in Myanmar, $100 is a lot.
Yeah,
It's like life changing money for them because maybe their situations and whatever.
yeah,
So these are all very, very complex things to uncover
Yeah.
on what would be the best way to compensate. But I think like the middle ground, like what you say, right? Honestly, I don't have an answer also. Maybe the middle ground is like what you said, pay them a decent salary and then the rest is structured around
I
how they
feel like
perform.
I say that middle ground because like that one maybe is for the tier 1 teams.
Okay,
Because tier 1 you are expected to already have a salary
true. Because you can
Right.
compare
to other
each
tier.
other teams
Yeah,
also,
yeah,
yeah.
yeah. It's very unheard of that a tier 1 team doesn't at least have a basic salary.
Mm.
Right. Then different tiers, I think different kind of I would say expectations that I have. So I feel it's more of like as long as you can meet the minimum expectations, then the rest that is up to how you want to go, how the organization wants to go about it.
By the way, fun
Yeah.
fact, the 300 ringgit that I told you just now is a tier 1 team. But it worked for them. They got a couple of championships and whatever. And the players are happy enough to take the prize pool. So, okay.
Yeah.
But that is, of course, as far as I know, the market for that game, it's a battle royale, not PUBG Mobile. The market for that game is like that.
Okay.
At least that time. That was a couple of years ago. Now, I don't know, maybe it has changed or what. But the market was that basically it's like Team A, Team B, Team C, all also the same structure. So nobody can do. But like what you said, right?
Yeah.
In maybe other game titles, the structure is like, oh, we have proper salaries.
Yeah.
So yeah, then it becomes so in HR terms, we call this compar ratio or comparison ratio. We have to compare with the ones in the same industry so that we
Yeah.
know that we are a market
Yeah.
rate. Even if I throw like, tier 1 league, tier 1 Dota, those
Yeah.
salaries are absolute insane.
Yeah. And even in tier 1 league and tier 1 Dota is also very different as well.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
Very.
it also depends whether they are part of like the franchise league or not. It's again different.
Correct. Because Dota doesn't have
Yeah.
franchise league.
Yeah.
So that's also very different.
Yeah. So all these like you said, like all these things is really depending on that existing market. The players, they will ask around, right?
Yep.
So then they will find out. Then they will like, hey, what you getting, right? So they will know. So I think the key is like that minimum. As long as you meet it, then the rest is kind of how you do it already. Yeah, because like sure. Let's say maybe in like in a game title where everybody goes with the minimum salary and then the rest is some provisions for certain things here and there and then price per cut. Straightforward, right? But there could be an org that decides to go a bit differently. As long as the minimum salary or certain things are still maintained where the players can see like, yeah, I can still maintain this kind of lifestyle or this kind of salary, then the rest, okay, I fight for it. So yeah.
Because there can also be a thing called spoil the market.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. Can be as well.
But then again, esports, you don't have, there's a lot of gray area towards compensation. So that's why pretty much everybody can do whatever they want.
Yeah.
Yeah. To a certain extent, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think like the model for is a bit different as well because there are so many things where you can add in like endorsements, KOL jobs, all this kind of stuff, right?
Oh yeah, that can be like the side jobs.
Yeah, so sometimes those can become the main things that they have to do.
True.
Right. So if they can write the contract in that way as well. So in terms of they might not be for the team side, they're not compensated that much salary, but they get for the KO or the talent or the kind of ambassador work that they commit to, they must do for the org,
Yep.
So it can be that way as well.
Yeah, and
Yeah.
that's why a lot of like we are now at the stage where we have a lot of retired players already.
Yeah.
Sometimes I speak to them and some of them are doing KOL work, streaming, whatever, all that. They say their life is much more easier and a lot more money doing that rather than trying to grind, be that number one player or that number one team
Yeah.
every season, and it's just so
Yeah.
stressful and there can only be one winner
Yeah.
and all that sort of jazz.
Yeah.
But stream is like, hey, I stream. Well, people come watch. I earn sponsor money. Cool,
Yeah.
right? I do
Yeah.
content. Cool, got money.
Yeah.
Overall, you can argue that it's more than
Yeah.
whatever they could have earned.
And I think like there's this thing where people compare your stress levels versus your agency levels. Meaning how much control do you have over your own situation. As a KOL, you have so much more control over your situation versus if you're playing in a team. You kind of delegate your control to at least 3 other players and 1 coach and 1 team manager, because all of that goes into affecting your team can win or not, right? Compared to your KOL, I just do my own stream, I do my own thing, it's my own setup, it's my own everything. So
I
yeah,
agree at that terms. It's me,
yeah,
right? Yeah, something like that.
yeah. So people, a study have shown that the more agency you have over your own situation, the less stress you feel. So yeah, so that definitely helps as well. So,
Right.
yeah.
Interesting point of view. Okay, I guess we are at the end of our topic today, which we talk about more the economics of teams. We break it down from international to regional, to down to even the players, right?
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add on?
No, I'm good.
Okay, if that's all, then thank you so much for watching. Hopefully you enjoy this episode. And if you have any other examples that you want us to maybe dissect a little bit more, do put it in the comment section. See you guys in the next episode of Podcast Tak Berlesen. Bye-bye.